Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, you're listening to Brit Asian Buzz, your TV and radio. Today we've got some guests here with us and we're going to be speaking about the importance of media and its effect on the community. We hope to have a very lively debate, and what I'm going to do is start off. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So first we have, and tell us a little bit about what you do as well.
I'm Gulnaz, and I do lots of things. I run a women's network, which is in conjunction with Forever Manchester Charity. We've got the first branch here in Bolton, and the plans are that they're going to have more women in neighbourhood across Greater Manchester. That's one of the things I do. I have taught in a secondary school. I've been a teacher for 12 years, and I've just recently given it up. I also am a managing director of a magazine which is primarily focusing on Asian women. And we've just started a monthly newspaper for Great Leeway area.
Wow, that's a lot.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And with the media and that here, okay, if we now go over to the next gentleman here.
I'm Darren Whitehead, and I work as a lawyer locally, and also I'm interested in writing and journalism and broadcasting. And I'm somebody who is clearly white. And I think that one of the reasons that I've been invited here to speak is because of the fact that I'm privileged enough to live on a daily basis, work on a daily basis in this community. And I suspect that's why I've been asked along, and I'm very, very happy to have been asked along and contribute in that capacity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my name's Hanif, Alli. I'm a local community worker, but I'm an ex-councillor as well for my sins, and yeah, I've got a few hats myself, but you know, I'm really honoured to be with these two guests because I can see how much they're doing in the community.
Brilliant. I've not even introduced myself. I've just said it all over. Okay, I'm Brother Billa. Yeah, I'll leave it out. Yeah, I'm Brother Billa. Brother Billa, I actually work within the community. I do a lot of charity work. I work in Manchester Homeless. I'm looking after the elderly. Anybody that needs our help anywhere, whether it's locally and globally, we have a team and we go out and we help people whatever they need in the world. Syria, be it Gaza, anywhere in the world. So, and I'm involved in a lot of charities and a lot of other work as well, which I'll be here forever. Anyway, so I don't really want to go through all that. Okay, let's get on to the debate then. We've got a few questions here, and what we'll do is, we'll ask you a question, and if there's anything that when you're speaking there's something you want to ask about the other person or something they've said, then please do get involved. But this is a debate, so we'll get in it together anyway. First thing that we'd like to ask you is, why do you think that a community media centre would be benefited within the Asian community?
Community media centre is really important for any community, and particularly for Asian community, because there is so much happening in the world, and where we are looking at Asians, there are interpretations and misinterpretations of Asians, and particularly Muslims. So it'll be very beneficial if we have our own media centre and people are given the chance to come and express their views and opinions.
I think that's exactly right, Gulnaz. Particularly now, and I'm glad you highlighted on the fact that there has to be an opportunity for people. It's a shame that it has to be self-generated, but in my experience it's typical and creditable, and to their credit that Asian communities do this. The energy's here to put this together, and the energy's here to drive it and support it, and it is unfortunately needed. It would be much better if we could focus on the celebrations and the community issues which make everybody happy, and which are normal, and which go on every single day. But Gulnaz, as you've already picked up on the point, you've mentioned Muslims, and you've mentioned the need for some consistency in representing the truth, because it strikes me that the orthodox media, the big boys, the national and international media operators don't advertise the truth. Only yesterday somebody pointed out to me an article on Sky News about an abattoir that was providing halal meat in Rochdale, and I was aware of the need or lack of need to publicise that story. It was pointed, it was slanted, it was aimed, and it could only have been from a source of a desire to baden Muslims in this country and frankly Europe. So if the point of a media centre is to cohese honesty and facts. Not that you're going to be able to persuade some people who've already made their mind up based upon senseless prejudice and illusions or delusions. You're not going to change their mind, but at least it's an opportunity to voice what is important. And I feel very strongly about that as a non-Muslim. Not that that's directing my sense of it, but I do. And also as somebody who isn't Asian, I think it's a corruption which needs to be at least confronted in some sort, or at least balanced out. So that's a very valuable use of this media centre.
Do you feel that Muslims and Asians are being attacked a lot more? Being a non-Muslim, and you can see, and obviously working with Muslims and non-Muslims as well, what do you feel, and what do you think that we could do as a community channel to actually change this and make it better? What would your advice be on that?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, Bill, the truth is, Billa, the truth is that, of course, Muslims are being attacked in Europe, North America, and we could expand it further, because it's happening not only on this continent, it's happening in China and Russia, and elsewhere. Singularly attacked, these assaults are happening, I know they are. Particularly, I think, and this is a concern that I have, there's nothing factual about this, but my instinct is that women, particularly women who choose to wear niqab, are going to be the brunt of a lot of this abuse, asides, snides, hopefully nothing more, but it will go on. Attacked broadly, without a doubt. It's all, and the worst thing for me is that insidious fashion it takes place under the cloak of concern. Eric Pickles directing imams, once again it happened when the Labour Party were in power. I'm trying to remember the name of the Home Secretary, I've forgotten it, she was a Salford MP. I've probably forgotten it for a good reason. But Eric Pickles is now asked, we know that a few weeks ago he demanded that imams read out a letter at Friday prayers. Yeah. David Cameron said, worse than that. Anybody who has a problem with this has got a problem. Yeah. Well, I certainly had a problem with that. I trust that the vast majority of congregations would have taken it as almost reading out of the bureaucratic bit of the prayers, I hope so, which imams did choose to read it. It's a disgrace, and frankly, I'm ashamed that that's going on in the United Kingdom in 2015. That's one example of organised attack, I suppose. But out on the streets, in the newspapers, it's all happening now. And it's so disastrously depressing. Will the media centre help in some way coagulate a balance to that? What harm can it do? If it only gives people a voice which they might take elsewhere, then it's got to be a good thing. It's about time that the debates that I know are going on in people's living rooms and over meals, it's about time that people heard the voices. It's about time that people, frankly, started to contest these dishonesties.
And I agree about that letter. It's like it's been imposed rather than going away from even the menu. That's the stuff that's in the letter. Just the way in which imams are being asked to do it. There's other ways to engage with the Muslim communities, as you know, much better than that. That's like a top-down imposing. Here's a letter because of what happened in Paris. Yeah. You guys, we expect you to do this, and anybody who doesn't.
They're asking us to apologise. I mean, I have this debate with my friends, and a lot of my friends know the work that we do, and they totally respect what I do, and they help me, they support me. These are Muslims and non-Muslims, but I always say to them, and one of my friends said, do you know what, I think that the Muslims should get together and they all need to apologise. I go, hang on a minute, all these people in the past, history has shown so many people who were Christian, so-called Christian, the actions weren't of a Christian, but they were so-called Christians, they've gone out and they've done these atrocities, they've killed and murdered people. Have you apologised for them people? I go, by you turning around to me and saying, I want you to apologise. Yeah, I want you to apologise. It's like, you should be apologising for me to actually affiliate me with such people.
And tarring all Muslims with the same generic brush. It's like all of us here have got English friends, non-Muslim friends,
Yeah.
Muslim friends, Hindu friends. We've been in the community a long time.
Yeah, of course we
We've
have.
been around the block.
Yeah.
And you know that we get on with people, we
Yeah.
understand people's cultures and so forth. And this is like, people up there, they're just assuming everybody down here who's got a Muslim
Yeah.
name, Ahmed, whatever, they're all like this type of people. And that's
Yeah.
insulting, isn't it?
Every Muslim is a terrorist.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, that's it.
insulting.
One bad apple. There's one bad
Yeah.
apple, and what they're doing, they're blaming the whole tree.
Yeah.
And logic will tell you that's not something that you would do. Human nature, you shouldn't even have to do that. And the thing is, though, one question I'd like to put to yourself is: do you feel that Muslims are, and people, age community, they're actually scared? They're actually scared of like voicing their a true opinion. I mean, they're keeping it within doors, and they're getting more. How can
Yesterday,
Yeah.
this is the honest truth.
Yeah.
A Muslim elder came to see me at my community centre. He was very active. We all know him here, but I'm not going to name him. But he said to me, he says, Hanif, and he's doing some youth programs at the moment about heritage and so forth. And he said that in all my years that I came here with your dad and so forth, we saw racism, naked racism, and it was name calling such as Paki, whatever. And it didn't matter whether you were Hindu, Muslim. He says the culture now and the way it's going. This guy's just retired and he's an academic, he's a professional, and he said, I worry about the next generation. And he said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Us coming here, was it a curse or a blessing? Because we came out of poverty. Oh, then we used to worry, have we lost our identity? And that was the elders' worry. Now he says, we worry that have we put our grandchildren at risk, like the Jews were in Nazi Germany before.
I think the media play a part in this. I've got a friend called Pat, who's Irish descendant, comes over, and he was explaining to me that many years ago, when he was young, early 60s, 50s, he goes, they were also, what we're going through today, they also run through the same thing. Then came over the West Indian, then came over the Asian, before that it was the Jewish people, and history's shown that, and media have played a major role putting these people in. So the thing is, a lot more people are getting a lot more scared, aren't they? Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I agree with all of you, but I also feel that as Muslims, it's our time to do a little bit more than what we have been doing. So the community centre is going to help, because then we can voice our opinions and we can actually tell people the things the way they are, as opposed to what media is portraying. So we've got our own media
Actually
centre,
give exposure to people.
and we can now put our point of view, and what we are.
Going back to the original question as well, I think that a community media centre will really help the communities. It's a two-way process. Like Gulnaz said, it gives us the exposure to show ourselves to the wider community that, look, we're not all these, terrorists, whatever. But at the same time, we'll utilise this media centre to get people's awareness raised about services that are available, with the local authority.
A lot of them don't know, do they?
A lot of people,
a lot of help out there
do
as
not
well.
know. I'm not just talking the first generation who don't speak English. You'd be surprised the apathy out there. People want to go work, come home, play with the kids, go on the PlayStation, watch Sky TV. They're unconcerned. They're not politically motivated.
No. It's
They're
very
voting.
important that they get involved.
There's people out there collecting hundreds of votes, or people just saying to their wives and children, "Oh, vote that party this week." All right.
They don't know
some
why.
question. So we can use. And I'm really proud to be part of this, media centre set up and that, because it will empower our communities, not just using big words here, but actually give them that voice, that learning curve where they need to find out how to engage, become members of political parties, how to become councillors. We did a course at our centre in 3 languages, and about 150 women took part, and they were all Asian women. And I tell you what, not hardly any of them knew how to join a political party. How to be, alhamdulillah, we even did a governors course for school governors, and a load of them took up school governorships. But in schools it's not taught how many local councillors represent an area. And nobody knows that every area's got 3 councillors, how to join a party, how to become a councillor. Nobody knows yet. When the government wants to, like I remember back in the 80s, 90s, late 80s, beginning of the 90s, environment became a very big issue. suddenly in all the schools, littering, the ozone layer,
Yeah.
all this, you'll remember it.
Big bolting
and
tiny
it came,
all the other
and
campaigns.
it went into the primary schools, all the way up, bum litter campaign, all the rest of it. If the powers that be really wanted the empowerment of the masses, I'm sorry, I'm not Lenin, Trotsky and all that, I'm not a thingy either, communist, but power to the people, if it was really wanted, that would be in the syllabus. In your primary schools you would have that every area in England, well Great Britain, sorry, is represented by 3 people. Those 3 people are joined, are chosen by the communities, a political party. I don't think the will is there, I'm sorry. What do you think?
It's very, very complex ambition you've raised. And
sorry to interrupt you.
no, I was listening very carefully and very interested. And I was delighted to hear your anecdote about 150 women attending a course into how to learn to be more independent. It really is, I think that was perhaps the thrust of what you're saying, how to learn to think on their own feet and be given the skills to do that. Because these are women, these would have been women who have raised families, these would have been women who have budgeted, these would have been women who have cared for this and cared for that. They would have been incredibly talented individuals. And certainly would have had the motivation to do that. But as far as the good side of having this media centre, I think that we've all concentrated on the current situation, if I can use a cliche, to brush over what is in fact, we've already said it. I think we agree, most people with half a mind would have concentrated and aimed effort to disparage and slur Muslims and Islam in Europe and wider. Away from that, wasn't it pleasant to hear about the positive side that could come from this? People given access to everyday things. I've looked at Gulnaz's magazine, this edition, briefly before we began chatting, and this is genuinely, it's called Inspirational Women 2014, it's clearly from last year, but actually inspirational is a decent word to use for all worthwhile self-generated media excursions, and this is one of them. People can come on, he had images of youth opportunities, young women's opportunities, issues that are niche to them.
Yeah, this is a question I was going to ask you. This is a question that I was going to put to you now, Darren, was what would you want from this media centre? Being outside and looking into it, what would you like this centre to have more of? The show-wise media, what would you like us to cover?
There's so many issues. And I think Gulnaz said earlier on, alluded to the fact that when people talk about the community, they're actually talking about many different types of beliefs and cultures and ways of being. It isn't simply the Asian community anymore. It's much more than that, and it has to be. So that could be reflected in the media centre. There are banal issues, but they're important ones. Cooking, music, fashion, ideas, political ideas, philosophical ideas, the history of where this generation's great-grandparents came from, investigating that.
It's uncanny that, because nearly everything you've said, we have had people come into us saying that, can we have a slot for this, can we have a slot for that? Like the elder that we met the other last night, he was saying that, can we have a heritage slot? And we've got artists even coming and saying, we've even got the Sufi Music Academy saying that they want to do a little gig here in front of the camera and so forth. So it is very much, I think, if we open it up to the community, we will get all these
There's enough there.
Come in. And as you said, this community is vibrant. You've got your Polish, you've got your, all these different people are here now, becoming part of the community, Somalis and so. Like the Crompton Somali Community Association, they want to come on, they want to slot, and it'd be great. Cause
so you've taken it away from now, we've all used the adjective Asian, and that's perhaps something that needed to be said.
It's very important that we all mix and do, and we come together, like when we do our projects. And the question I always ask is, do you only give it to Asians? And you know what they're asking? And what they don't realise, like right now we've been out, we've delivered, we've just delivered 300 winter warmth packs, emergency packs for people who are vulnerable over the age of 60. And in there we've got gloves, hats, blankets, food, everything. Big boxes this side, we've just gone over and delivered them. And I think I didn't see one agent. They were all, and even when we do the homeless project in Manchester, every Saturday, 99.9999% every person there.
The point you made
is actually enormous.
The point you made about people's reactions that, oh, is it for your community? Within a dimensions, we used to deliver food packs from the food bank, and it was the same. People used to be shocked at, is it for our community? Is it for us? And I think there's this assumption that it's
we
just
need
for
to
the
change
agents.
that, don't they?
I think it's because the old
change
generation used to live quite cocooned for whatever reasons and all that. And I think now, we're branching out.
Yeah, they are.
A bit shocked by it.
The people now, they're coming over and they saw us, we gave them the pack, and they were so happy. Yes. And that one person goes, "Are you Muslim?" Yeah, I go, "Thank you so much." Nobody gives anything for nothing, for free today. And honestly, this is what we just got. We were in daycare centres, and over the last 2-3 weeks, I don't know if you've been following us in the papers, we've actually been on there, the media have been following us around as well. And you know what, and it's making that difference. And I always tell people that go out there and help someone, but don't do it, to get famous. Don't do that. Don't do it for your own ego. Don't do it for pride. Go there because you want to help someone, and then it comes across because your intentions are totally right and totally clear.
And Billa, actions speak louder than words, and like you said, the perception of Muslims there, we have a role to play as well, don't we?
Yeah, of course we do.
And,
very important
and
role.
that is one of those roles, because people are now seeing that Muslims are helping elderly people, regardless of what colour or what.
Yeah.
And it's important, isn't it?
I also feel that this will be a good place for young students to come in for work experience as well.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Anything more you want to add to that then? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Or is there anything else to add, anybody? No. Okay. Right. Okay. There. Another question which you pose to yourself when that being work is: do you feel that we would become a partner with a women's agency in order to get other Asian women to come forward?
Well, why not? This is a media centre for everybody. So, and women do play a very important role.
Yeah, of course.
So, yes, absolutely, we should become partners with lots of women agencies out there, and that will help. Because one of the things that we are planning to do is to get an interview slot with inspirational women. And so that everybody is aware, so they are role models for other people to follow them as well.
Yeah, there's so many great people in the community. I was speaking about one lady, she makes cakes. And she used to only make cakes for charity, and she'd make £1. And that pound she'd get, she used to donate to charity. And people have told, and even now, she sells cake. The money she gets, she donates to different charities. I can see that. And there's so many other people that we don't even know about that work in their times, and they don't they don't do it for their self-ego, they don't do it for pride, they just go out because they really want to help people and make that difference.
It restores people's faith in humanity, because all you see on the news nowadays is old people being cautious. I mean, we're getting away from the Muslim Shia. The news is so negative, it's wars, it's people and values, all these young people see on the news is, like I say, crime, drugs, and we want a bit of positive news in there. We want to show that here there are people who are doing things for other people for nothing, just for the warm glow in the heart, and that's important to get that out from the media as well. It's not all negative, is it?
Well, it's like a platform for people to come and voice their opinions.
Yeah, definitely. Darren, what do you think? What would you like to add?
I can only corroborate what's already been said. These are all very positive ideas, and I think they've got substance. Really, if we think about media, it's about the drawing together of different opinions, different ideas, different expressions, and then broadcasting it to the wider public. It's about depublicising the private acts, and really that's what we're talking about. These things are going on. No other media outlet is going to be interested in reporting them or giving these opportunities, because the reasons Hanif has already said. Bad news provokes attention, which is sad, but it's a philosophical issue. I don't think there's anything we can do about that on a broader scale, but what we can do, what you're doing already, Billa, with the help of the people facilitating this and your various guests, is hopefully it's focusing that good news. And frankly, the good news is partially just bringing it back perhaps to the political issues. It's the truth, and it needs airing. And I'm so glad to have been asked to come along today. I know you very well, Billa, from other events and such like, because it's very frustrating for somebody who isn't the offspring of any immigrants or a non-Muslim. It's very, very important, or a Hindu for that matter, or a Sikh. It's very important for me personally. And I know other people who have the same opinions as me, the same demographic as me, white, middle-aged people. There's more than me who think and are frustrated at the lack of opportunity and voice that's been given to the truth. The truth, frankly, isn't two murderers in Paris. It isn't some misled lads in 2007 who did something stupid for whatever reason. And it's not how the government portray it, and it's not how the authorities portray it, it's not how the CTU portray it, it's nothing to do with the counter-terrorism bill. The truth is, everyday goings on between people who have no animosity between each other whatsoever and get on very, very, very well and just want to get on with their lives and their families' well-being. That's the truth. And perhaps this might point it in some correct direction.
No, of course, you have very, very good points there anyway. I think that's why we need to move forward as well. It's very important. Do you know one thing I wanted to ask as well? The question was, you know, like your organisation, you work with women, how do you feel that this community radio, your media centre, would benefit them? What can we do for them, or how would it benefit?
Well,
and what can you see it doing?
Let's not talk like about women like there are different people.
Yeah.
It will benefit the community, it will benefit women.
Yeah.
It will give them a platform to voice their opinions and to express their views, any concerns that they've got.
Okay.
And there are lots of concerns regarding women, you know, like domestic violence, and then you've got forced marriages, and then young girls, they've got lots of other issues where they've got identity crisis, you know, and so many other things. So yes, they can come and we can focus on those issues. We can then look for solutions as well and have discussions around those issues. So that should help women.
That's very good.
And I think we should take this opportunity as well to say to people in the community that whatever youth groups, community groups, cricket organising, whatever it is, come and see us, come and talk to us, and you know, we'll try and get people, as many different types of people from all roads, to get a slot in there, you know, give them a voice.
Yeah, definitely, very good. Anyway, okay, I've got we're going to our next question, which is probably the final one. Yeah, and that's probably aimed at yourself here. What is your experience as a non-Asian working in the Bolton communities? What's it?
Well, I get up and I go to work with colleagues, and I sometimes eat and socialise with the same colleagues. I'm the only non-Asian in our office, albeit that I work there on a self-employed basis, and I still intermingle with people on a regular basis, other businesses elsewhere, frankly throughout the Northwest and beyond. Largely Asian, largely Muslim, and I've done this now for several years. Prior to that, I've had, I think, close connections with the Gujarati particular community in this town, and the truth is that there comes a point where if you realise anything at all, that you're simply working with other people. I like it simply because I like people, and I like people's interesting, terrible words to use, but diverse nuances. I like to go to somebody's house and eat their mum's dal chawd. I like to go and develop the opportunity. Well, in my experience, there are different varieties of recipes, and I've got my own little mental scale actually, my top 10 list, which is private and always will be.
Which is your favourite dish?
Oh, my favourite dish?
Yeah.
Well,
Too many.
Well, do you know what? Without being honestly, probably dal chawd. I've learned to. I've got that connection with that lentil sauce.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of weddings, Goshen Centre, etc. Very, very often.
Dal chawd.
I like it all, but actually, on a broader issue, and this isn't sentimental, I've rarely, if ever, and there was a particular point in my life where this was particularly acute, I've rarely, if ever, come across a more generous, well-meaning, welcoming, home-based, home-focused group of people, if that's the right phrase to use.
Okay, we'll pay you later on.
No problem. The invoices are available. Only we were so cynical, but then again we are the government.
No, exactly. I would like to add anything to that as well, for yourself, working in communities and that.
Well, I'll just agree with everybody.
And everybody else.
Yeah, no, I'd just like to also say that, you know, Farouk knows this, that when we've been approached, we're actually shocked by, you know, the amount of talent that's out there. We've got people, honestly, who paint at home. They're not famous, they've not displayed their paintings, nothing. They just do it, and like, we've asked them and they say, oh, it's a stress breaker. And we've said, do you know what? Bolton's got this art gallery, it's in town centre, and it's got the communities. You can have, they've no idea
of how to get in there and how to get the work there as well.
Yeah, and I know that gallery's really tried as well. But not just that, there's loads of other. I mean, Gulnaz, he's going to come in and, you know, the 1001 Inventions, which was at Manchester Science Museum, you know, displayed. He's going to do a slot, and he's going to basically let people know through this, you know, all the famous inventors of the medieval era.
Back algebra
and all that.
Those sorts of beautiful.
And again, that breaks that mould of Muslims and terrorism. Here, it shows the heritage and so forth as well, and what we brought to Europe, and you know.
Can I just add to that? We are working on a concept of ABCD, which is asset-based community development, which is like you look within your communities and within your groups what assets you've got, rather than you get outside people. And then you'd be surprised that you've got so much talent within your own groups, within your own homes, that you don't really need outsiders, and you can then utilize that. So that's a concept which Bolton Council has also taken down. There are lots of workshops around ABCD, and it's come from like Forever Manchester. And Gary, he's the head of community building, he's the one who's actually put together these concepts.
How do you get in touch? How do you get in touch with these people? Where do you do? What do you phone? Do you Bolton Council?
I don't know, they find me and I find them.
We'll tell people through here.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, and I just attended one of the trainings. They were like, through an email I got that there were some trainings available, and if you'd like to, and I did have the time, so I attended the trainings, and the women group came along.
Yeah, there are other local groups like BCOM as well. They're doing quite a bit as well, aren't they? And they get with organisations. They got business classes, this class.
Got that inner dimension.
Yeah, inner dimension as well. Yeah, there's quite a few that are going on. But I think the more that people that find out in their localities what's going on, you know, I mean, it'll be a benefit to all of us.
We do Bollywood Nights event as well, which is every month where women can come in and they have dinner, and then they have DJ, and they can just have a nice time. Because I just feel everybody, particularly women, need to have a nice time. They need to relax.
Come in, Darren, come.
Well, I'm going to say, Billa, you in particular.
We noticed that Billa's left me out. Yeah.
Sorry, it's for women only.
Billa, you seem particularly animated by the mention of Bollywood Nights.
I just need to go. It's work experience for me.
The good thing is that the food is provided by local women. So
food as well.
Good Asian food. And we've got a local DJ. Bolton at Home, they have given us a hall, which is Slaterfield Community Centre, which is really nice. So we can use that every month. And it's just nice to see people just actually relaxing. It's just nice.
Getting on with their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Very, very good. Okay, is there anybody who wants to add anything else about the centre?
I think that's it. I think this is the beginning of something, and let's all hope.
Yeah, we'll go. I mean, hopefully we'll have more shows in the future. Yeah, inshallah.
We'll be given enough notice.
Yeah, enough notice. Yeah, today, I don't know if you guys know, but this has just been dropped on. I think all of us has been dropped on. So it looks.
We've only just met here today.
Yeah, we just met. We don't know each other. Well,
I know you,
I know Hanif. I don't know the sister here. I don't know anyone, but we've met today. I think most of us don't know each other, and we've just been put here. Thank you to brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, which is really good. And you know, we want to tell you, if you want to catch up on this show and other shows that are going to be coming out, if you go to BritAsiaBuzz.com, BritAsiaBuzz.com, you can go there and you can view shows that have actually already been on. We had a competition, I think about a couple of weeks ago, and the live results were put on there. We had a live debate, which was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah, what we did. And this was very good. And there's going to be a lot more happening in the future. So Brit Asia Buzz, or I think I read somewhere B-Buzz as well. We have B-Buzz TV. Yeah, bbuzz.co.uk. We have that channel as well. bbuzz.uk, and we have BritAsiaBuzz.com. So please get yourself over, go and have a look at what we've got. I want to thank our guests. I want to thank myself as well.
Thank you very much, Alli.
Thanks, Billa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you as well. And hopefully we'll see each other again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.